So for my presentation question, I'm doing question 1 from week 4, and the question states, in geometry classes, students learn that when parallel lines are cut by a transversal, that corresponding angles are congruent, but they may also learn that alternate interior angles are congruent and alternate exterior angles are congruent. Explain why it's unnecessary, since by explaining how to use vertical angles and corresponding angles to show that these pairs are congruent. Okay, so I wrote down our corresponding angles are 2 and 6. So 2 and 6. I did purple for corresponding angles, and 4 and 8. And then for alternate interior angles, I did in green 4 and 5, and 3 and 6. And then for alternate exterior angles, I did it in pink. I showed that 1 and 8 are congruent, and 2 and 7 are congruent. So the green ones are the corresponding angles, so we can see, the purple ones are corresponding angles, so we can see that 2 and 6 are congruent, and 4 and 8 are congruent. This is because when these two lines are parallel and the transversal comes through, this entire section and then all the corresponding angles on here are congruent, since this is coming down at the same angle and these two lines are parallel. So this whole section equals this whole section, and this would all equal 360 degrees. So I discussed the corresponding angles and why those would be congruent. So then I wanted to talk about the alternate interior angles. So the question says that 4 and 5 are congruent because of alternate interior angles, but we can see why they're congruent because of vertical angles. So 4 would be vertical to 1, and then based on the corresponding angles, 5 is corresponding to 1. So then 8 would be corresponding to 4, and these are vertical angles, and these are vertical angles, so all 4 of those would be equal. And then for 3 and 6, same thing. 3 and 2 are vertical, and 7 and 8 are vertical. So 3 equals 2, and 2 and 6 are corresponding, so 3 would equal 6. And then, so we got that. 1 and 8. 1 is here, 8 here, same thing. 1 and 4 are vertical. 8 is corresponding to 4. So that would make 1 equal to 8. And then last one, 2 and 7. 2's right here, 7's here. 2 is vertical to 3, 7 is corresponding to 3, so 2 equals 7. And why vertical angles are equal is because in a straight line, this is 180 degrees. So when that transversal comes in, that would mean this angle and this angle would have to equal 180 degrees. So then same thing on this side, this would also equal 180 degrees. And since it's the same line, it would just mirror each other. It would be like mirrored over this line. So this one would equal this one. Okay, so that's how we would use vertical and corresponding angles to prove which angles are congruent with one another, and we don't have to use alternate interior angles and alternate exterior angles. Thanks.